down to it and shoot for the sky.
Well, Colt,
Well, I'm counting
I
on
think
these
you
two
should
to
be a
keep our
little
money in
more concerned with
house.
your open challenge, but that's what I'd be worried about. I'd be worried about the open challenge you have because you
I'm
got you
not
have
worried
gold.
about. I'm not worried about anybody when it comes to an open challenge. You want to know why?
Why's that?
Why is that?
I'm the most brutal person in TSW. There's not a person that will stand across with me and trade shots. Last person that did, he walked away with more bruises on his chest that had reached down to his waistline. And you know that, Eddie. You know that.
I was there then.
Now, as the manager of
Some big
Eddie,
words.
I think it's you are the champion, but he is going to be the underdog. Okay, this is this is going to be his year. So before you know it, you might end up losing that title 1, 2, 3 to Mr. Eddie Wade.
If he's man enough to take it, come to war. Don't come to battle.
All
Fair,
right.
fair enough.
There we,
I I guess that's a good segue to kind of get
there we
into
go.
this.
There we go.
So as a real life pagan myself, I'm always curious. When I hear about culturally, uh, intertwined gimmicks like this. So how do you blend the myth and the fantasy and the culture of the Norse kind of Viking aesthetic with the reality of wrestling and the realities of the modern day as you are the modern day Viking? How
Well,
do you blend those two worlds?
most people don't realize is that Viking was something you did. It wasn't what you really were.
Yes, it
Right.
was a career.
So, whenever I get in that ring, as soon as I hit backstage, as soon as I hit that building, I'm a modern day Viking. I'm not your old fashioned, which, in our religion, I'm all through, which is follow the old gods. Um, so whenever I come in, I've got the mentality of me. I'm just being me. I'm not there to make anybody happy. I'm not there to make people hate me. I'm not against the good guys. I'm not against the bad guys. I'm just against whoever stands in front of me. And in our culture, when somebody stands in front of you, it's honor against honor and it's respect against respect. So that's how I cliche my gimmick into who I am, because my gimmick allows me to be who I am.
So it's an
And
extension of you.
yeah, well, most people don't understand when it comes to our religion that we are based off honor and respect. You didn't have anything else back then. The land wasn't worth nothing or anything. So they taught us that honor and respect was the only thing that you had. So if I can't extend that out to you without being respectful, then I have nothing to say.
So let me ask, you call yourselves
Absolutely.
pagans, right?
Norse
Correct.
pagan. Norse pagan.
Because in the past 2 years, I've met more people claiming to be pagan more than I ever have. And like it started when I lived with my best friend and he said he was pagan, and then I met Jesse, and then I met you. Like I'm meeting like more and more people going by that, and like I kind of find it interesting. I've done my Wikipedia search and info on it, but like it is pretty neat to learn about. Like I suggest anyone who doesn't really
Well,
fully understand it to do some research on it to understand it more, just
I
like
can
any
help
other
you out.
religion.
and
Right there
Colt could.
will teach you more
Yep.
than you could ever learn from the internet.
That's cool. I would like to at least I'd like to at
And
least see the audio version or the online version and look it
I
up
th-
and see what it's
I
about.
think a lot of the
There you go.
reason, and Colt can answer this too, but just from my own experiences, I think a lot of people are turning to the sort of older, ways, because I mean, it's a very old religion sect. And I think a lot of people are turning to it because and this isn't a religious podcast. We'll get into the wrestling in here in a minute, but this is my fault for bringing it up. Um, but I think the reason people really identify with the Norse paganism is because our gods are very real. They seem like real people with real ambitions and goals and mortality.
I can see that.
Whereas say the Christian god or the Indian gods or whatever, they're omnipotent, they're inconceivable, whereas ours are very down to earth and understandable, and you know who they are. So but without getting too preachy, that's why I think we're seeing a kind of upturn in Norse paganism.
Well, I mean, just like whenever it comes to anybody's religion, it's like wrestling. It's all a choice.
So does that make you the first ever pagan TSW champion?
Yes.
Mhm.
Look at you
Hey,
making
there you go.
history. Hey, you're the first pagan TSW champion, and Tyreek's the first ever African American RPD champion. So history making in the podcast.
And Native American, right? Native American as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
Hold
the
on.
first. Yeah,
Shouldn't have
yeah.
Yeah.
said it.
Ty is the
I'm the
first
first
everything.
ever.
He's the
Period.
first
First ever.
RPD
Period.
Prophecy champion.
Three
He's the
times.
first
Three times.
Ring General. He is the first Double Crown champion. So,
You're lucky Eddie's not the
anyways,
champion, or I'd be tossing him that ring and saying, "Hey, hit Colt over the head with it and take that title." No.
and speaking of the
'Cause
ring, before we move on, speaking of
Did
the ring, it is still vacant, and we have just added TNA No Surrender to the upcoming Supercard 9, which will determine the next Ring General. So that is TNA No Surrender, AEW Revolution, and WWE Elimination Chamber. We're going to be competing over all three of those cards to crown the new Ring General.
Ooh.
But selfless plug out of the way. Ty, your next question.
So, Cole, I was actually wondering,
TSW?
who are
Oh
some of your
man,
favorite opponents that you've been in a TSW ring with?
of course Sarge. Me and Sarge make history every time we step in that ring together.
You two are good together.
Mike Murphy, of course. Fiji Wildman.
Nice.
Fiji and Tank. Those two. No matter what
Love
it is, I
Michael.
know it's a fight. I know that we're going to hit each other. We're going to take it as brutal as we can. Sarge, I have to think ahead. He's not an easy opponent. This man has pushed himself past a lot of people, and he will catch you off guard. J-Town Daddy was probably one of my favorites. Even though he's retired now, love to see him back. I have a few people that I'm ready to face, but only time will tell.
one thing. Sorry.
Do you find that do you find that your favorite opponents have similar fighting styles to you, or
Um,
that, or like the same type of matches, the hard hitting or stuff like that for the most
well,
part,
with Sarge, it's chemistry.
or is it just about like chemistry
With
maybe?
Fiji and Tank, it is as hard as I hit you is as hard as you're going to hit me. They know that. With Mike Murphy, it's a little bit of both. That man can pick your
Yeah.
brain without even talking to you. So it's kind of mind-boggling. That's why he's our champion now. I mean, if he can't get in your mind and play you like a fiddle or play your cards right, this man's going to take everything out from under you. I don't like giving praise whenever it's due, but you got managers like Austin Michaels that just knows how to get his way. Mike knows how to do that in the ring, not outside the ring so much, but in the ring,
Yeah.
the man will make you feel little.
One thing I do like about Master Sergeant that I've seen is I've seen his transition
like
on
it.
Facebook where he started training, and not to put him down or anything or say anything bad, but like he was a kind of bigger than what he is now. You can definitely tell like he's been training and eating right and trying to get in the best shape ever, and it's really paid off. And
Yeah, he looks like he's in incredible
and I
shape.
think it was the this last July or August, but it was an outside venue. I think at like the football field, and he won the title in the battle royal. I think or whatever. One of my favorite TSW moments because he literally threw someone over like. He threw the person over the rope, and he thought there was more people in there. And when he realized, like, holy crap, I'm the last one in here. I'm the champion. It was like a wholesome moment to experience. Like, he just couldn't believe it, and like I love that. That's one of my favorite TSW moments. Just the look on his face, like holy crap, I'm champion.
It was an awesome moment to watch.
I was one of those that got thrown out by him during that match.
I was
And,
also thrown out by his hand in that match.
you know, as of somebody working and fighting to do what they need to get to where they are, that man has done more than I would ever anticipate it.
Like I remember one time we went out to eat somewhere, and there was Sergeant taking his own his own homemade food in, and while everyone else is ordering number fives and number 12s. He's over here eating his healthy
Putting you
prepared
guys to
meal.
shame.
And I was like, wow, dude, for real. Like, I felt bad eating my Wendy's burger. I'm not going to lie. I was like, dude, I'm ashamed of myself because this guy's actually doing something like I should be doing. But, like, I think he's a real good opponent for you, too. Like, I see your guys' styles and stuff, and I pay to that match every time.
Well, not to toot his horn, but that man has lost over 130 pounds at least.
I would love
And
to
Incredible
follow that.
transformation.
I mean,
I
I'm sure he'd be willing to help you. I mean, 100%.
Absolutely. Like I actually look at his diet schedule and I'm like, dude, that's something I would love to follow suit in. But like I was saying, you guys both, his fighting style and yours, I mean, you guys just you guys could wrestle 7 days a week, and I bet each match would be banger after banger. Like,
Yeah, he's
all
definitely
right.
like last year. My match of the year to me was me and him at this last show when I won the title.
hmm
Um, you know, I hate fighting somebody I consider a brother and I respect and I have honor for. But at the same time, if I didn't give him my all, then how would I respect him or give him honor?
exactly.
So,
Absolutely.
you know, when it comes to Sarge, he does have a rematch
Mhm.
clause for this title at any time. He can accept the open challenge at any time. Anybody can accept this at any time. But the only issue is when are they going to stand up? Who's going to be big enough to take me
I
on?
was about to say that. The only issue is the man who's going to be standing across from them in the ring, Mr. Colt Wilds.
Oh my gosh, yes, like just imagine winning a battle royal or an opportunity and you have to go against him. Like I've seen him like at the TSW shows, and like some of the hits and some of the things he does, I'm just like, holy crap, like that had to hurt. Like there's no way it couldn't have. Like I've seen him clothesline
Just
someone,
as
I'm
a
like, are they breathing?
reminder,
Oh no, Eddie, did it
just
hurt?
as a reminder, if you're just
Man, it
joining
doesn't feel
us,
good to get hit by
get
Colt Wilds.
get your questions into the
I can
chat.
attest to that. It does not feel good to get hit by Colt Wilds.
Well, we're gonna try to avoid that next time. You,
That's the plan,
being
yeah.
being the lighter and the smaller feller, you got to use that speed and advantage to get past him. We got to bring that We got to bring that TSW title to
By all
RVD.
means, avoid the clothesline.
I don't think he dreads the
Oh,
clothesline. I think he dreads either the chops or the cannonball.
Ugh.
oof. That
Yeah.
cannonball's
The
nasty.
cannonball bat, it got me pretty good, yeah. And then
Ooh.
Chops, yeah. I mean, Chops, smaller guy.
I'm giving you a hard time, Eddie. I will give you your credit. At least you were man enough, not just once, but twice to stand in the ring against me.
Okay,
I
so
mean, it's the only way you gotta get
as a
somewhere.
chopper, I have to ask Colt, do you prefer overhand or kind of the sideways chop?
Sideways.
Are we talking
100%.
Ric Flair chop or Gunther chop?
But nope, sideways 100%. And there's a reason why. It's because I've been doing it like I've heard other wrestlers say, you stop when you forget what you're doing. You stop when you have nothing to do. Not really, because here you go. Uh, fans love it whenever you get that pop.
Mm-hmm.
Your opponents, they don't have to sell it because it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
I think
I
it
use
was
it kind of a wake up call. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're facing me. You're going to have to hit me, and I'm going to wake you up with this.
Like I
So
understand.
I
Like
think
I understand that in wrestling you're not going out there to try to end your opponent's life. You're just trying to win a match, and you got to beat them down to do it. But like I do think in wrestling, you have to give some receipts and take some in return. I think you have to do that. Like, no, I'm just saying, you hit Eddie hard. Let's say, I think Eddie's got to come back a little hard too, and show you like, hey man, I'm not holding it against you, but whack, here's a good one here's for you.
That's the business we're in.
it's kind of like prison rules. It seems like it's a matter of you don't have to win the fight, but it's a matter of you have to show up to the fight.
exactly. It's like we said, many times it's about, are you going to be an honorable man and show up to what you have to do?
Mm.
I mean, you got to go to work. You got kids or a wife or responsibilities for that day. You got to show up and you got to do that. I condone this little man for doing what he's done. Hopefully one day he gets a brain fart and actually realizes that he's on the wrong side, and he could be learning from somebody that knows how to knock him around. But he can play his little long hair games and sit back and be the comical boy. But until then, you're still wearing diapers, son.
Or option C, the
Oh.
Brotherhood will lead Eddie to greatness and championship gold. The Brotherhood has done it before. Why not Eddie be the next?
Because I
Well, I
started
think
the
that's a
Brotherhood
great.
and I've destroyed the Brotherhood.
That felt like a Stone Cold moment because I said so.
I think that's a great segue into the next question we have lined up here, Joey.
so,
So if you want to go ahead.
so anyone of your choosing, but what wrestler would you like to see?
Excluding yourself.
Yeah, what wrestler would you like to see be the next big star in TSW? Like the next breakout star, the next guy on your level to say.
Sarge.
Really?
Okay.
Sarge, 100%. Now, there's others that are behind him that I would love to see because he's reaching that level. But
I was about to say I kind of consider him that level.
exactly. But what I'm stating is that I want him to surpass me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see him being, I'm just saying, I see him being in Mike Murphy's shoes right now within the next year.
That's awesome. I can
You
see that.
Future rock and roll champion.
100%. But as far as freshies, rookies coming up, Eddie Wade, if he gets his cards right, I see a lot of potential in you, dude. A lot.
Appreciate
I'm sorry.
that.
I'm sorry, but you remind me so much. If you would just study those two guys, you remind me so much of Christian Cage and Edge put together. You would blow people's minds. And then you got this hobo, which I've got to communicate with a little bit. That dude has a skill level that people ain't even seen yet.
Yeah,
I know.
it was a night. I had the street fight against you and cousin Frank. Actually, I participated in a battle royal. I went to give him a clothesline. He ducks. I'm out. I was like, I was.
Like what just
He got
happened?
me. Yeah, I mean, he just ducked, pulled the rope down.
Did he pull?
and there
Did
I
he
went.
pull the rope down?
Like since I asked the
Or did
question,
he just?
of course I know and hope and pray and everything that it's Eddie Wade, Mr. Eddie Wade. But if I had to pick someone that I'm not managing, I would have to say I would like to see Ladies Man be one of the breakout stars. I really would. Even though I'm not his manager, I do like Ladies Man, and every time you see him at the TSW shows, he is always in a good mood. He's always going around like hugging everyone and just in a good mood. And like I said, if I have to pick someone other than my wrestler that I'm managing, Mr. Eddie Wade, I'd have to say ladies man.
If I'm gonna answer this too, and if I can't say Colt Wilds like we've established, I gotta say, somebody I really want to see get to that upper echelon, that absolute top, is Repic. Like every time I see
Ooh.
that man get into a ring, he is magic, and I want him to
I
have
like Repic.
all the titles. I don't care if it's tag team, Southeastern, when Colt isn't champion, rock and roll doesn't matter. Like I want to see that man dripped in gold.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I saw him in we just crossed paths in the bathroom one time, and I didn't even notice it was him without his face paint. And I
I
was
would have
like,
known
wait a
you
minute, I've
guys.
seen you. And he's like, yeah, I'm him. And I'm like, dude, like I didn't notice you without your face paint. Like that's so cool and so weird. It's like being in the '90s and seeing Gold Dust or something without their face paint on. It was like so crazy. Um, but no, if I had to pick a match, I would like really like to see. I'd like to see Colt Wilds against Tank. Tank. Oh my gosh, talk about meaty men slapping meat, dude. Like that would just
Slapper
tear the
meat.
house down, honestly. Now, another question I have, and maybe it's because he knocked me silly. Who's the guy that wears the mask and is just a psychopath?
You're talking about
Rick
Riggs
Knox?
Knox.
Oh
Dude,
goodness,
yes, yes. Dude,
oh,
I remember I was managing Eddie or something one time, and he like I was too close, and I was like, I guess I was too
Ooh,
close to the ring, and he bent down and smacked the crap out of me, like, dude,
That
like,
was
I was like,
that was your first show.
Knox is
dude, like,
Let, let,
yeah,
let me tell you a secret about Rig Knox. He don't talk to nobody. He don't communicate with anybody. The dude is a monster. I don't even think he feels pain. I've hit him and he's just looked at me. Me and him traded chops on Eddie Wade and he just kept going and going and going and then turn around and put his attention on me. You know, one day I will get in the ring with him and I guarantee you that's going to be more brutal than anybody else I've faced.
yeah,
That
because I
sounds
think
like
I
a
think
hell
like
of a
Jesse,
cage match.
I think like Jesse said, that being my first match ever to manage and getting the like when he slapped me, dude, when he I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know like like, I didn't even know what my next thought was, to be honest. And
Didn't
every event after that, I've kept my distance. I've learned my lesson the
didn't
hard way.
didn't Miss Bleed 'em Dry also like step on you or something?
Yeah, let's not talk. No, she smacked me, but let's not talk about that.
The good old days.
But see,
Eddie
but
Rainbow,
see, that was before I learned the ways of Austin Michaels. That's before I learned about,
That's before
him
you
and his
got your
greatness
come to
and the
Austin
idol that he
moment.
is. Yes, that's before I learned about him and his greatness and the idol he truly is. And I had to get beaten down by Miss Bleed 'em Dry and Austin Michaels. I had to get beaten down by everybody to learn a lesson. And that lesson was don't bet against Austin.
but you know I smacked Austin. I can smack you too.
Well, I'm gonna pull Rig Knox.
Ooh.
I'm gonna do what I do with Rig
Can I
Knox and
pay
keep
for that?
I'm gonna do what
Do
I do
you
with
do you
Rig Knox
accept
and keep my
payment?
distance.
You know, we might get enough smacks we can start a highlight reel with you.
Well, I'm gonna do what I do with Rig Knox.
I
I'm
would
around
edit
you, and
that.
I'm gonna keep
I
my
would love that.
distance. I'm gonna enjoy the match up
I
close,
would
but
pay
not
for
too
that.
close.
I'm sure the fans and Jesse and all them would love to see that though.
Hey, maybe that will light a fire under Eddie and be like, "You don't slap my manager," and maybe that's
yeah.
what he needs. Hit me, hit
Just
yeah,
me.
yeah, I couldn't take lightly to my boy Joey getting slapped around like that. That wouldn't I couldn't let that. But
I'm telling you right now, if I ever go to
just Joe,
yeah, just
just
but do
if I
it
ever go to
do it like
jail,
The
hope
Rock.
Eddie's there
Do it
with
like The
me.
Rock, but a little bit
You don't
harder.
mess with my boy.
Don't worry,
kind of
Joey. I'm sure you'd make a good
segueing a
prison
little
bitch.
bit. We kind of touched on this at the beginning of this. I was going to ask you, what does the TSW Southeastern Kentucky Championship mean to you at this point in your career?
I can speak on the championship, but I'd rather speak on the company. I've traveled from state to state. I've been in the ring with some of the people that would make people dumbfounded or be like, really? TSW is my home. I have planted roots. This right here is my key to my home.
Ooh.
So don't ever try breaking in. Don't ever try robbing me of my key because this and TSW, I'm a defending champion. Not all your TSW Southeastern champions were defending, but I am. And I will defend it at every show to prove that that's my home. And if you're not welcome in my doors, don't knock on it.
Well, geez, at least invite me in for a sleepover. Jeez. Uh, no,
Well, you'll be sleeping, but I don't think it'd be a sleepover.
no, I feel you because like just being a manager, like this is like my first actual year being a manager, and I really don't think I would have chose anywhere else to begin a manager career than TSW. It really is a good atmosphere and great action, great fans. I mean, TSW really is a place to be. Like, I don't care what type of wrestler you are, a veteran or a new guy. I don't care. Like, if you want a good organization to be in, TSW is where to go. Like, you can learn so much from people like Mike, Mike Murphy and stuff alone. But like, I've just been a manager and I've learned so much backstage and out in the and putting rings together, being out there with Eddie. I mean, I've learned so much just being in TSW. Like, it really, I understand where you're coming from about being your home because I really wouldn't have chosen a first step to start off than TSW.
I mean, you got to think that locker room is full of so much knowledge. You got Tank, 17 years in. You got other people that, you can't communicate with often. People like you can communicate with them, but Larry McCoy, 20 plus years. J-Town Daddy, 30 plus years. Mike Murphy, almost 30 years. Me, this October, 16 years. I mean, the list goes.
Mike Woody
Austin
over 40
Michaels,
years.
30 years. I mean, yeah, Mike Woody. I mean, how could you
Look,
not be comfortable, learn, and call that home with all that there?
And you know what?
speaking of knowledge and gaining it, I'd just like to point out that this Saturday before the show, if you show up, it's from 12 to 3. TSW, the Marvelous Wrestling Academy, is going to be having a seminar, and Mike Murphy and Mike Woody will both be attending the seminar. That's over 60 years of knowledge that you could, just sit under the learning tree with, whether you're an established wrestler, whether you've never done anything before, they accept all experience levels, or if you just want to come out and watch and learn a little bit more about the industry, that's perfectly fine too. $30 for observation, 45 to get in there. And it also comes with a ticket to the show.
Oh wow, that's a
And
seller.
I can't stress enough how awesome of an opportunity it is from the Marvelous Pro Wrestling Academy. You know, we're talking about like I said, Mike Woody. That man has worked with NWA. He's worked with WCW. We talk about uh, Mike Murphy, the founder of TSW, someone who has worked with big names. Even going back to Mike Woody, this is a man who made masks for Rey Mysterio, the Rey Mysterio, like legendary, nationally respected mask maker.
I think he
So
even
truly a rare
I
opportunity.
even think I heard that he got a cease and desist letter saying you can't make them no more.
Yes.
Like,
Someday,
you
someday I'm going to have Mike Woody on this podcast. I'm going to ask him to
know
break out
what?
the cease and desist,
You know what?
just
I
because
got
I
a
want to
bone to
see
pick
it.
with Rey Mysterio for in his Hall of Fame speech not acknowledging Mike Woody for making the mask. That is bullcrap now that I think about it. But since we're talking about TSW two here real quick, I'm not going to point out names and say who they are. They know who they are, and I hope they see this. But
Oh
like
God.
anyone out there trying to tear down or ruin the reputation of TSW just shows you like I don't know. It just shows you how where their mindset is, how childish they are. Because TSW does, yeah, because TSW does so much. TSW does
Tell
so
us more
much
about
charity
them
work
than it
and so much
does,
good
like
things
TSW.
that when I
Yeah, it
hear
says more
about
about
these
them.
certain people trying to tear down and copy them and this and that, it's just pathetic because you're literally trying to
TSW
tear
strong.
something down that's great to make yourself better. Like that is total bullcrap. Like TSW has open doors, and these people were trying to walk in and just try to break everything, try to make it their own, and that's not right. I think like if you got to know TSW and what they do and what they stand for, you would feel kind of like you'd feel like crap for doing that. But I just wanted to point out anyone trying to tear them down or copy them, like shame on you for doing that because TSW is one hell of a place to be. I just had to get that off my chest.
Absolutely.
Well, one thing you'll learn about being in this business, Bubba, is any publicity is good publicity.
Oh, I like that.
Let me ask you
I think
something.
WWE would disagree on that, but
Well, there are certain issues that you just have to avoid. But
yes.
if all right, you guys watch wrestling, you watch WWE, and then when TNA first came out, you heard about how horrible it was because it was a bunch of indies guys, right?
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, that's what the narrative was at the time, but boy were we wrong.
Exactly. So tell me this, if they're bashing us that bad and the fans are like, well, I just have to see for myself how bad this really is. And then they go and they get to see all these good matches, stories, everything that'll blow you out of the water. What do you think they think about that person? Definitely if it's, one of their friends or a company they went and watched before and then they're dogging us into the ground and then they come and see for themselves that it's not what they said.
Yes, like for example, who remembers in like I think '99 when WCW was like, oh great, Mick Foley's gonna win the title on WWE, that'll put butts in seats. It actually
And
did
then it
get the
literally
viewers to
made
switch channel, and that's what buried
yep.
WCW. That was like their final nail in the coffin. So like, yeah, perfect example of bring the publicity to TSW. Let people say who is TSW and let them find out for themselves. Like, yeah, keep on bringing it. Keep on bringing it. I like the way Colt Wild thinks.
All right.
It's
Well,
all
I
about
think
how
that's a
you
good
handle it.
exactly. I think that's a good segue since we, kind of speaking about
Hmm.
the industry in a larger scope. And by the way, if you just joined us recently, don't forget to throw your questions for Mr. Colt Wilds here in the chat. We'll go ahead and read them off to him. But as we proceed, excluding yourself, who is on Colt Wild's Mount Rushmore? And do you have more than one Mount Rushmore, or do you just have the singular combined one? Because I know some people they gotta, split it all up to get everybody in there.
Is it just TSW or everybody that I've worked
Oh no, just the industry itself.
with? Okay, well, there you go. All right. Right now, number one would be Cousin Frank.
Okay.
Number two would be Tommy Coffee. Num-
Okay.
Number three would be Cody Raines, which he's retired now, but that man is up.
Okay.
Number four, there's so many that it's just hard, but I'd have to put J Town Daddy up there.
Okay.
Okay.
So are because not everybody obviously is from the Kentucky
There we go.
area. Are these mostly like local or like in the area sort of
Well,
independent guys?
it's all the way from another promotion called Cold Red in Indiana, which Cody Raines worked me there, and Tennessee. Then you got Tommy Coffee, which I worked in Tennessee at some of the most biggest matches I've ever worked, and most people keep up with it and realize that he went to OVW and now he's uh, one of the big promotion wrestling companies, tag champs now.
Okay.
J Town Daddy has worked the Unabomber. I mean, knows Glenn Jacobs personally. I mean, this man
Wow.
has worked everywhere, and the knowledge this man had since day one, I've picked his brain, and he's actually helped me become who I am now. If you go back and watch my story and my legacy of TSW, He's the one that even showed me the reason why I shouldn't have started the Brotherhood in the first place.
Oh, we don't
But
say that.
yeah, I would. But if you go to now, here you go. You're talking about performers. Now, mind you, I have a manager slash performer that will always be on my top tier, no matter what anybody says, and that's Joe Gold, the founder of the Brotherhood. That man goes back 18 years with me when I started training, same as cousin Frank. We started out together at the same company. You know,
Really?
I've traveled more roads and done more with cousin Frank than I have anybody else in this industry.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The things I have
Little.
set through with that man, the things that he has set through and watched me get done. He's watched me get training and do a mess up, and next thing you know, you hear a clothesline party, and the entire locker room comes out and has fun. It's you're learning, and every single one of those guys that I worked with then, and when a promoter or another company contacts him and asks them about me, the one thing that they always said was have fun keeping him down.
We gotta get Glenn Jacobs or Kane. We gotta get him one of these battle royals. Oh my god! I might even hop in that ring and say, "Choke slam me!"
We
Put me
really
through the
love
mat.
Cousin Frank. Cousin Frank was actually like our first official interview, guest. So, we have
Was
nothing
he?
but respect for Frank on this
I thought that was solely
podcast.
Larkin that was our
Um,
first.
so he was technically our first, but our first official one that actually got put out into the public was Cousin Frank.
I was gonna say, I believe he was
Um,
like either our first, second, or at least third interview, but he was up there with one of our first ones.
yeah.
Yeah, cousin Frank's taught me a lot
So
of the stuff I know too. He's been very
yeah,
hands on in my training.
I'm kind of mad
yeah,
that all
he's
the events I've been to and I haven't seen him bring his pig out.
He's been
and he's a
hibernating.
regular over at Marvelous Pro Wrestling Academy as well. So if you happen to go over to there, I'm sure you'll see Frank there if he's available. We kind of went over that Mount Rushmore of the kind of Kentucky, Indiana guys. Do you have a Mount Rushmore of the nationally recognized guys like your WCW, ECW, WCW?
I sort of do, but I've always been an indies guy, like
Okay,
majorly.
and that's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
everybody has their Stone Colds, the Rocks, and stuff like that they've loved. And I'll probably get a lot of hate for this, but you know, my number one guy that I've always followed and I love for his business and his, him as a worker is Chris Benoit. You know,
Okay.
uh,
There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with recognizing and enjoy and appreciating Chris Benoit's body of work. The way we look at it is he belongs in the history books. However, that's where
no,
he should stay.
nobody can bump better than that man. Nobody. But, of course, Chris Benoit will be my number one. Second, Sammy Callahan, you know,
Underrated. Very
yeah,
underrated.
I mean, seminars from that guy was crazy. I love him to death. He's one of those you take it and leave it kind of guys. Um, Brian Beach, which is retired now, Ohio. I mean, Brian has worked crazy. Jason Kincaid, Jordan Cage, all great people to me. I mean, when I see these guys, I think of you're here and I'm trying to climb to get there. It's those guys are just surpass me. If this was Dragon Ball Z, they're Super Saiyan. I'm still a human.
Oh,
It's
that makes
funny that
sense.
you bring up
It-
Chris Benoit. I have a card book full of like autographs and what they call ring piece cards. And like 2 years ago, I saw on eBay that there was a Chris Benoit ring piece card, and I felt kind of dirty buying it because of what happened. But I was like, I gotta have that. Like I gotta have that ring piece. And a lot of people have looked at my collection and been like, well, that piece probably sours your collection. I'm like,
No,
it's wrestling history pretty much. Them are the mats that these guys wrestled on, and like it's very hard to find like a Chris Benoit autograph or ring piece card nowadays. So that's one of my like really out of the whole card collection, that's one of my favorite pieces to have. Because I'm just like you. I really did like Chris Benoit as a wrestler. And we here at Ring Post Daily, we don't talk about the despicable. We talk about the good moments and the good times. And one of my favorite moments of his was WrestleMania 20 when he won the title finally. Like, I was a kid and I probably watched WrestleMania 20 more than any other WrestleMania, and that long celebration moment, that like rest in my head. Like that's what wrestling's about, winning that big belt and that big gold and just, feeling the moment like he did.
Well, if you get to it, watch his matches with him and Eddie Guerrero, him and Dean Malenko. How brutal these guys were to each other.
Right.
I mean, if anybody ever sat down and said, "Oh, a wrestling's fake," watch this. It don't matter what you think. Oh, it's fake. It's this and that.
Dude,
Mind you,
I
it's
remember
not some old puppies and kittens.
I remember hearing a story. I remember hearing a story where I don't know who it was, but there was this rookie that came
That
in and
sounds
he was
like
disrespecting like Shawn Michaels and Triple H, I think it was, and Chris Benoit made him do like 500 push-ups or something, and he did them right there with him. Like, that was crazy because he's like, you ain't gonna respect these guys. These guys are my friends. These guys are, and this is like 2005, 2004, I think. So, these guys are future Hall of Famers, but everything they did at that point, he was like, you're not gonna disrespect them, and you're gonna do 500 push-ups right here, right now, and I'm gonna do them with you.
Another one, we just got done, obviously reviewing all the Royal Rumbles, in preparation for this year's. But one of my favorites was when Daniel Puder was in,
Oh,
and before the match, he was going around, big man, puffed out chest. He's like, "I'm in the main event," and everybody's like, "You're wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship? No, you're not." And he's like, "No, I'm in the Royal Rumble," and everybody just kind of laughed him off. And Benoit,
Guerrero and
Guerrero,
Holly.
and Holly, yeah, they got together and they're like, okay, this guy needs to come down a few pegs. So what they do is,
Chop the
they're
shit
out there.
out
I
of
think
him.
they were two. Yeah, they were like number 2, 3, 4, and Pewter was in there at like 5 or something, or something like that. And it was just them out there, and they just decided to all take turns chopping his ass for a good 5 minutes or so.
First off, that was the
I think I
2005
remember
Rumble,
they threw somebody
oh,
and
out.
Balloon, they
Yeah,
tossed him out too.
dude,
yeah, I
I'm,
think
I'm just gonna
they threw somebody out just so they could keep chopping him.
I'm just gonna say, dude, he got shot by Guerrero, Benoit, and Holly, and this was a 2005 Rumble. And I will say that I think Hardcore Holly had too much fun doing it.
Ooh.
I mean,
Oh, he was enjoying every minute.
Benoit and Eddie was
I was
happy to
just about to say,
oblige,
I
but
was like, out of
Holly,
all of them,
every
Holly
time
was
he got chopped,
probably
Holly was smiling from ear to
the
ear. I'm
worst.
like, even at that young of age I was like, dude, calm down. Like, you're having too much fun with this.
Well, you're proving somebody wrong. You're teaching a lesson. How are you not going to smile? Not going to be like,
But I hear Hardcore Holly hated rookies too, so.
I wouldn't say he hated rookies. He just wanted to make sure that people.
I'm pretty sure
No,
people
I
will
get
quit
what
the
you're
business
saying.
because of Holly. Like, he's too rough, dude. I can't be in there with him. This ain't wrestling with me. I'm done. But I guess that's how you find out who the strong and weak are.
Go ahead.
So here's my question,
Oh,
Ooh, the wrestler has a
what do you
question.
got for us?
Jesse. What's it going to take for you to come to a show?
Oh, what I would need is free time, hell to freeze over, uh, a private plane or some stupid shit.
Well,
Man,
I didn't ask you stupid. I asked you what it would take.
I just don't have a lot of free time, man. I would love to be down there, but I see. Here's the thing. I may not be the oldest on the podcast. That's old man Joey at 30. I'm 28.
31.
But I'm definitely the only adult of this podcast because I got 6 kids. Five at home plus a wife. None of these guys are married. None of these guys have kids. They can just drop anything they want.
Hey, I have a
do
dog.
show, whatever. Yeah, you got okay. Fine, you got a dog. So none of these guys know anything about responsibility.
My
Hey,
sister has a dog.
I will point
My
out you
sister has
made
a
it to
dog.
the Rumble. So I do
I
think
did make it
that
to the
in the
Rumble.
future you could make it to a TSW event.
The
Well,
first
I will say
time,
this, Jesse, if you ever decide to come, you ain't got to get a hotel room. I got a room here,
oh, well,
and I would love for you just once to walk out with me and stand in my corner.
I would love that.
Now,
I would really.
now that's a match.
appreciate
That's
that,
a
and
match. That's
I
a match.
appreciate the
Colt with
endorsement.
Now you
that's what
gotta
I'm talking
go.
about. A
Now
match
you
then.
gotta
Colt
go.
with
Now
Jesse
you
and
gotta go.
facing Eddie with Joey, ring post daily in each corner.
Yeah,
This
I
takes
would-
me back to WrestleMania
that
2000 with a
would be
McMahon in every
money.
corner.
That
It's
would
already
be
the
money.
ref.
What can I say? It writes itself.
It's just a thought.
I'll be the ref.
Oh my gosh,
It
I'm gonna
is,
have to
man.
pull a Donald
I do
Trump.
appreciate that.
I'm gonna
really
have-
do.
I'm gonna have to pull a Donald Trump attacking McMahon on the side at WrestleMania 23 and just jump all over Jesse.
Battle of the managers. Hell yeah.
Please tell me you got better punches, though.
Joey, do you want to bring up any other controversial figures? You've already.
I don't know, Joey.
Benoit
Jesse's
and
tall,
Trump.
bro. Jesse's tall.
You want to throw any Vince McMahon's in there while you're at it?
Fabulous Moolah, Hulk Hogan's,
Oh.
Ultimate Warriors. The list can go on.
Yeah.
Ow. Yeah,
All right.
keep
So,
it up.
Ty.
That's all I gotta say. Just keep it up.
Thank you. We really
Do
appreciate
it.
that.
What you guys do, I enjoy. I watch it as much as possible. I chime in when I can. Like you said, kids and work, it's kind of hard. But keep doing what you guys are doing because a lot of people enjoy it. I enjoy it. I get on here and I'm like, yeah, well,
We really enjoy this partnership, especially with TSW. So thank you. And if you're just joining us, we're
Thank you.
kind of in the middle here with Mr. Colt Wilds. You still got time if you want to drop a question of your own into the chat. We'll get it answered for you.
Well, it's funny that you say that because earlier on when we were talking about him possibly losing that title in the chat, a young lady named Tiffany says, "Nah, Colt ain't losing that title." So whoever Tiffany is, she's got your back, Colt.
Yeah, Tiffany's got your back.
I love to say it, but
Wolf
that's my
E.
wife.
Trapper.
Oh,
back.
your valet, huh?
Hey, mind you, this the 17th, February 17th,
There we go.
at Corbin Civic Center, TSW.
Saturday.
That's also my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, babe. I love you.
Tristan and Angie also says
Right.
she does little brother, LOL.
Well,
So does little brother.
Tristan's my little brother, so they're all chiming in. And you said Wolf Trap. That's one of my boys. That's one of my good friends. Shout out to you, bud. Hope you're doing good.
Awesome. We love to
Man,
see
it must
we
be-
love to see people engaging and supporting their favorites and their families. So that's really awesome to see.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm glad
You
that
you
Yeah,
have
Colt
single-handedly
Wild's
drawn
a
more
draw.
people
A draw.
to this chat
Big
room
draw.
specifically than I would say 80% of the people we've ever interviewed. So
Well,
Thank
I'll tell you right now, you got people in here from Virginia, from West Virginia, from Boston, Massachusetts, from Indiana, Tennessee, all the way around the state. So they're probably going to chime in a lot more now.
And,
alright.
I'm glad they can all see you on this podcast and have this episode to go back on and see you with that title because one day you might not be wearing that title. One day they might be watching Mr. Eddie Wade wear that title and they can say, hey, I watched Eddie on the
Always
podcast
working.
before he was champion. I watched Colt Wilds when he was champion, when he was relevant. Now it's different.
See,
Hey,
what you have to understand about Joey here is he's kind of like 7-Eleven. He's not always open, but he's always working. Always working.
hey, that's a good thing. But hey, as long as I'll say this, as long as Jesse's got my back and everybody else in these comments has got my back, Eddie Wade is going to have a fight on his hands.
Let me tell you this. I was talking to this young lady on a dating app, right? I met her through a dating app here recently,
Oh
and
God,
she
here we
told
go.
me she grew up with wrestling and she hates it. And she said that it's stupid and a lot of other words I can't say here. And the very first thing I did was I showed her a couple pictures of me and Mr. Eddie Wade here, and I was like, well, what you don't know about me is I'm a wrestling manager. And, wink, wink, this is my wrestler that I manage. I was like, so I told her, I was like, you don't have to like it, but you're not going to put wrestling down because it's something, it's probably one of the most things I love more in life other than like my dog and stuff. But wrestling's like one of my biggest loves in life. And I told her, I was like, and you sitting there putting that down, you're putting down my wrestler for all the hard work he's put in. So you're not going to talk bad about my wrestler, and you're not going to talk bad about one of the things I love the most in life. And we kind of had to come to an understanding. Let's just say that we don't talk anymore.
Oh wow.
I was gonna say,
We're gonna have to
that
turn
might have been
this.
a block.
We're gonna have to turn this into a weekly series, dating life with Joey Hudson.
I
That was one of the
Well,
biggest. I'm just saying that was one of
I
the
would
deal
have
breakers. I was like, I don't know if
chose
I want to meet
wrestling
this
too. I
girl
would have
now.
chose
Like,
wrestling too.
she don't want to sit down and watch a WrestleMania. She can hit the bricks.
Love that.
well,
Oh,
I
That's
can
good.
agree,
boy.
I can agree on that. I actually met my wife through wrestling, so she was a fan and everything beforehand. So I mean, that worked out for me quite well.
It's
So
See,
it's
being
gonna
a wrestler
sound.
just sweetened the pot.
oh yeah,
Oh my God, it's
very
Colt
much.
Wilds.
Well, you got to think. You got to think. For the first 15 years, first 14 years of my career, I was nothing but a heel. I'm, good at making people hate me because I mean, why not?
It's so
So
much easier to be a heel, isn't it? Because
it,
it's
it
easy to
is.
make
It's
people
easier.
hate you.
It's easier to make millions hate you than it is to make one love you.
One of the biggest deal breakers too with this girl is I told her I was like, I'm gonna take you to a wrestling event one day, and she's like, I will never go to a wrestling event with you. I'm like, yeah, this is already going downhill.
Next, she's gonna
Like,
tell you she doesn't like dogs, Joey.
and the thing is as men, we go and we watch our women shop for clothes for hours, and does this make me look
Oh
fat?
God,
We
where is
go
this
through all
going?
that crap with girls, and they can't even change to go to a wrestling event with us. Like, nah, like you ain't the one. Next.
All right, Ty.
One of my speed dating questions would be, who's your favorite wrestler?
Ty, save us from dating adventures with Joey Hudson, please.
No, we still have a
No,
couple
no,
questions to go, buddy.
we're
Well,
like
wasn't
halfway
that?
through,
Didn't you just
bud.
ask the last
You
one?
know what question I'm going to ask, so we're not done yet. So it must be me next.
You,
But I asked
okay,
mine
we'll do
too.
Joey. You take
I
it.
Oh,
asked mine
thank
too though.
God. The question I love to ask more than
Yeah.
anything in the world. I ask
Here
every
he
guest,
comes.
but yes,
Well,
this is like my this is like my bread and butter here. But as a wrestler
time
and
to
a
get
fan
thirsty.
of wrestling, do you acknowledge Roman Reigns as your tribal chief, as the undisputed champion, or just in general? Didn't even say no, just a
Sad,
head shake.
sad tribal
Well,
chief noises.
I told
There we
them the
go.
reason
There's
I asked this
another
question
no.
is I'm gonna ask this question, and I've asked every guest we've ever had on this show that
He
question.
has.
And the day I quit asking it is the day he loses the title, which I gotta hope ain't soon. So
Listen,
It's
if Roman
happening.
hold, so if Roman holds
Less
that
than
title for
60
another 5 or
days.
10
Well,
years,
you bet
that's another five or ten
it's
years
coming
on this
up. It's coming
podcast that
up.
every guest is being asked that question. So
Let me ruin your question for you there real quick. Are you ready?
you could try.
Please.
So the story was that The Rock came back, came nose to nose with Roman, so everybody knew that match was going to happen, correct?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So how come Seth Rollins gets put on the injured list. He can't perform against Cody, so now they booked it. The Rock goes heel and Roman against Cody.
Well, I think he got injured because
I got an answer for you.
see, Roman is going out there and defending his belt. I think Seth knows his numbers, his days are numbered, and he knows that, oh, if I play the injured card, I won't have to defend my title. Roman, on the other hand, is begging for competition, begging for people to face him. I mean, trust me, I love my wrestler Eddie Wade. I
You
love my
don't
hero
understand
John
how
Cena,
deep his
but
delusion is.
Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, there is none other than him. We will never see anything like this as long as we live. Maybe our grandkids might see something like this someday, but it's very unlikely. The last time we saw a champion in this big of magnitude was in the 80s with Hogan, and before him, Bruno Sammartino. We had people like The Rock who has 7 different title reigns, and and all 7 of them don't even add up to the days of Roman Reigns. I mean, you want to talk about Hulkamaniacs? I'm a Roman maniac.
Okay.
All right, so
My
Colt,
prediction for
I
you.
will answer your question officially
Oh,
because
Please answer.
Joey. Yeah, so Joey, his delusion
oh,
just
Coach,
runs
about
too deep to answer it honestly. Here's what I say happens. So Cody beats Roman at Mania. Rock comes out. Rock challenges Roman, says, "You are not fit to lead this family anymore." Challenges him for WrestleMania 41. Roman instantly turns into the biggest babyface in the company, while Rock is still the mega heel because he's just calling all these shots. That's
Boo.
what's going to happen out of all this.
Boo.
Maybe, but you want to hear my prediction?
Sure.
I'd love to.
All right, you're going to have Cody and Roman 100%. Cody's going to go over
yes,
this time.
Yes.
No.
But you don't have Seth Rollins performing at WrestleMania. He doesn't have an
Has
opponent.
to.
He's on the injured. He has to have knee surgery.
Yep.
He's hurt. Or as somebody like to say, claims he's hurt. Who took shots at The Rock?
Cody and Seth, I think.
Triple H.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
CM Punk.
So Triple H did
I've
end
been
of an
seeing
era
this.
Bunch
with
of people.
The Undertaker. Why not do an end of an era for Triple H and it be The Rock?
That would be
He's
the
got a
smart path because,
pacemaker.
see, we saw The
You
Rock
can't
come back
wrestle
for like
with
the
a
first.
pacemaker.
That'd be insane.
I feel like WWE can figure it out if they want to.
He's
Now,
the game. He can do whatever he
Austin ain't going
wants.
to come
'cause
back
he's
and
the
do a full
game.
match with The Rock.
God, I'd love to see that.
What they could do is they could do a sort of Game of Thrones-esque, like choose your champion type thing, kind of like the Battle of Billionaires, where I could see, obviously The Rock Solo. You could have him go in there and Solo is The Rock's champion, and then you have Triple H walk in and he's got Randy Orton as his champion. I think that would be really cool if they did that.
Well, I can see that, but they're going to have that title defended, even if Seth can't defend. And whose finisher does Seth always use? The Rock's going to challenge Seth. I guarantee it.
I'd love to
Oh,
see that.
yes, yeah.
And Seth can't perform, so who's going to step up? Then somebody he idolizes, Triple H, to defend the
Ooh.
title
That
for
would be
him.
really cool. But I just don't know how he's going to do it with a freaking pacemaker.
Well, see,
Wow. I
The
think
Rock.
so.
Let me
I
point
think
out how The
so.
Rock is smart.
He could,
comes
bro,
out on
just
SmackDown, his
saying.
first real
Could
big
happen.
appearance in forever, and he stares down Roman. He has a week or two to think about it, and then he realizes, oh, I better team up with Roman. I better get on Roman's side because if I go against him at Mania, he's gonna make
This
it
is
my
the
last match.
illusion.
I might not ever wrestle again. I mean, The Rock is not dumb because he thinks he wants to face Roman. He thinks he wants that title shot. He takes 2 weeks and thinks about it and realizes I'm wrong. I can't beat my cousin. I can't beat the tribal chief. The Rock thinks he's some freaking high chief thing, and it's like, no, you're not the high chief. There's only one tribal chief, and to be honest, if it wasn't for Roman, that whole family might have been forgotten about.
No.
Well, funny you
No.
say that.
Roman is
because
keeping that
The
family
Rock-
name alive.
How can you say
No
that
way.
when there was
Johnson-
Umaga, Rikishi, and then the Usos had their own note? Did not need Roman Reigns. Had their own note. And
Well,
then
there-
look at their brothers.
well,
Look at
there's-
their brothers that are coming up in the Indies.
Well,
I
there's
mean,
kids and
Yep.
there's kids and new fans that weren't around to see them. Thanks to Roman, now they know of Umaga and Rikishi and who are the Usos? Well, they were with Roman, so they're relevant. Like Roman just makes everything he touches better, and like my heart is one of them. And just being the tribal chief, the undisputed champ, I think that is I've argued with my 13-year-old nephew about it, but like I told my nephew, we will never see this again
Joey
in
argues with
life.
13-year-olds in his spare time.
Yeah,
okay,
I do.
okay. Well, like you said, everything he touches is better, but it's not like his promos are getting any better.
Oh, they're killer. They're
Ooh, that
stellar.
is
I just
that
love
is
seeing him come
true.
out there and be himself and just tear people down. I mean, my hero, John Cena, and he put Cena in his place. Like, no one has been able to do that. Cena's always been the upper hand on the mic, and Roman comes out here. It's the same thing. It's like missionary style. I'm like, holy shit. Like, what the heck? You don't hear this stuff on TV. Like, Roman is.
You can't.
You're talking about
Whoa,
Roman
whoa!
Reigns
You
putting
can't
Cena in
compare
his
that to what
place, but
Cena
yet you're
did to Roman,
still
though. You cannot
underthinking
compare
CM
that to
Punk
what Cena
Cena
did to.
put Cena in his place.
Yeah, he did.
Triple H put Cena in his place. I mean, did Roman really destroy him verbally compared to what CM Punk did to him? I mean,
I don't know.
No.
He ever since he
And
faced Roman, he ain't had much luck on the winning side, and I think that's because the tribal chief knocked him down a couple pegs.
you know, just
eh,
to switch gears a little bit here, you mentioned how the family seeing how they're developing on the indies. This is relevant because it just happened today. I guess Zilla Fatu, Umaga's son, he just reconciled with Reality of Wrestling, which is Booker T's promotion. And the only reason I bring that up is because Booker T has been working with Jacob Fatu as well, and he's on record, Booker T is saying that he is going to bring in Jacob Fatu into WWE. Like, that's his goal. Whether or not WWE's on board is a different story, but that is Booker T's goal. So we could be
if
seeing a whole nother branch of the bloodline come into play here soon as well.
Well, they
We
better
don't just
acknowledge
have to
Roman and get
settle
on the
with the
right track.
characters we have. I
if
mean,
you know
we could see a whole nother civil war. We could see a whole nother civil war where The Rock,
That'd be
and in
crazy.
his war with Roman, brings in Zilla and brings in Jacob Fatu, and he creates his own bloodline and creates his own followers and subjects, so to speak, into his tribal tribal court, so to speak.
Dude,
So
he can start his own tribal queef all he wants, but he is not going to. But you could bring in a whole family against Roman, and Roman would slap every one of them and say, "Acknowledge me, acknowledge me, acknowledge me." Like Zilla, he Roman would beat him so bad he'd have to change his name. Like, yeah, like if
I
he comes
want to
into
see Zilla
WWE,
versus
if he
Solo.
if any of these
I
if
Oh,
any of
I
these
can't wait till he
Fatus come into
loses. I can't
WWE,
wait till
they
he
better be like,
loses.
"Hey, can
I
I join
cannot wait
Roman's
till you be
bloodline
quiet.
thing?" Because that's probably where I'm best at. Solo did it, and look where he's at.
Solo's a breakout. Watch.
He, I
yeah,
couldn't believe
he
when he beat
is.
Cena at Crown Jewel. Like that really made my heart stop because I love Cena and I betted on Cena. I was like, Cena's not losing this match. The only thing I
That's
can
the
see
other.
happening is at Mania, Solo and Cena fighting, Cena Solo 2,
Yep.
and Cena getting the W. But when he
That's
beat
the only
Cena,
other place he
like I
can
was
be
like,
on
holy
Mania.
crap, this is like big star status here because we've seen Solo get in these matches and beat people, but when it came to defeating Cena, I was like, okay, they're really trying to make him one of the next big stars because how do you get any bigger than decimating John Cena the way he did?
Well, then they put him up against Logan Paul and put a championship on him.
Oh
I
God!
would I would be
Now,
up for that. I
I hear
want to
these
see LA
Samoans.
Knight. I want to see LA
There you
Knight
go.
take the championship off of Paul at Mania, and then I could be down for a LA Knight Solo Sokoa program. That would
Yeah,
be
because they've
fire.
got the history for it now too.
They do.
Yeah. As much as I like
Yeah.
Prime, though, I hear these Samoans have like really tough heads,
Yeah,
and if he tried to
yeah.
knock out Solo, I could see Solo getting a few
Yeah, just
Samoan spikes on
he
Paul, and
smacks him with
end in
the
that
blood
ring.
force trauma, and he gets right back up. Just like yells at him. That would be amazing.
Dude, BFT. Whenever I
But
hear him
we've
hit the
gotten
BFT, it sounds like an amazing sandwich.
we've gotten way off topic. So, Eddie, why
BF,
don't you hit us with your
BT.
last one?
So you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but I was gonna ask, how does it feel to see the faction that you were a part of the beginning with and helped create to see what they've become nowadays? Like the reference in
See,
the Brotherhood, of course.
yeah.
At one
Especially
point,
now with Eddie and Joey as a part of the Brotherhood. Are you
Makes you want to be
ashamed
back
of
in it,
them?
don't it?
well, at one point I was proud,
Should be.
but now I'm just feel sorry for you.
You shouldn't be.
You got
Well,
one mouthpiece that controls everything, but in all reality, you could do so much better by yourself. Let me ask you something,
Well,
Joey and Eddie.
sister.
oh, that
Tiffany
ain't even
says it's
right,
not the
dude.
Brotherhood, it's the sisterhood.
What,
Yeah.
sisterhood? I mean, that's what you turned into. I might as well buy you some Tampax and maxi pads.
Tiffany
The
called it the
sisterhood,
sisterhood.
that's a low
Tiffany,
blow, not the
yeah,
sisterhood.
Tiffany says, "Poor Eddie, LOL. This is the sisterhood. Like sisterhood. Like get out of here. Like come on.
I'm
Even
sorry,
you got to
guys.
acknowledge the brotherhood as one of the best things ever to happen to TSW. If it wasn't for the brotherhood, you might not be where you're at today. They've elevated you. They've made you championship material.
Did you not realize that I started the Brotherhood? I
Yeah.
was the first
Yeah,
first wrestler in Brotherhood.
And the
So,
people
so in all
inside it
reality,
made you better.
I
So what you're
created it.
saying, Joey, is he created his own success. That's what you're saying.
oh, yeah.
The people within the group made you better. They became your family, and you turned your back on them. You left the brotherhood. You seeing Eddie. Maybe it takes Eddie being champion one day to make you be like, I should go back. I should beg that family for forgiveness. Accept me again because I want to be back on that level.
Hey, Eddie,
Yeah.
even if you call them your family, are you going to let your own family hit you in the face and cause you to lose what you worked so hard for?
Don't
I
answer
don't
that.
think the. I don't think the. I think things would be different with me. I think they'd be different.
And
Man,
how is that?
good answer.
It's, the upside, I guess. I mean, I know you've got the experience and done all that, but maybe they just see the potential here.
Oh, they
Maybe you're
do.
just young and naive and don't realize what potential you really have.
I think over the years, Austin Michaels has really learned the true meaning of family. And I think bringing in new people like Eddie, I think they're going to get treated better. Yes, we've all made mistakes, but we learn from them. And Austin Michaels has learned from his mistakes. And maybe you'll learn from yours one day. But but if you ever want to come home to the Brotherhood, I'm pretty sure we can sit around the night's table and we can sit here and conversate about it. And maybe we can allow it one day, but Austin Michaels, I mean, you can't get under any better umbrella than Austin Michaels. If you want something, he will get it for you. And I think Eddie Wade's on that right track of winning some gold and getting there.
Well, you and Eddie and Austin and all your little fun buckets over there can sit at your round table all you want, but me and the real RPD champion and Jesse and everybody else will sit at our long table and enjoy our feast while you can sit there and rub each other's
You,
feet and not realize the true
I
potential
can't.
that I'm offering.
Hey, Austin Michaels is a hard worker. If he needs Austin Michaels is a hard worker. If the guy needs a foot massage and,
I
that's
can't
my duty for the
stand
day,
Austin
I might have
Michaels.
to, I might have to put on some lotion and get to work. But that's my guy. That's the workhorse.
The
And
only reason Austin
Tiff,
Michaels is a hard worker is because he's so short he can't step up the steps properly.
hey, that's why they make ladders. But he will still climb every rung until he gets what he wants. And by the way,
He
in the
still has to
chat,
climb mine.
yeah, so
Jamie, yeah, go ahead and tell him.
Jamie says she hopes that, or she or he, I'm sorry. I says I hope Colt Wilds hits Austin Michael so hard that he knocks the rest of his hair plugs out.
Oh, that's just
I'm
cold
so I'm
and rude.
normally a Brotherhood supporter here, but I would pay to see that too. Like I'm gonna have to get a loan or something because I got all these receipts I gotta give out for so many things I would just love to see happen. And
Austin
then
Michaels is so Austin
Tiffany
Michaels is
also
so
says how
revolutionary
much is
that there's a fan with. Sorry, go ahead. Go
Tiffany
ahead.
asks Joey how much is Austin paying you to say these things. I think that's a valid question.
He pays me in knowledge. He pays me with a place to call family. And he is so revolutionary that there is a fan out there with an Austin Michaels tattoo. How many TSW guys can say that a fan has got a tattoo of them on him? Austin Michaels is the only one. I can only hope one day I get on the same level as Austin Michaels where someone says, that Joey guy has changed my life so much. I'm going to get his logo or his name or whatever stamped on me. I mean, that is true legendary status. You can roll your eyes, but it's true, Colt.
Stupidity comes with everybody.
I mean,
But
So then Joey,
I
who
got
are you more
I got
loyal
one quick
to?
question. Oh, go ahead,
Joey,
Jesse.
who are you more loyal to then, Joey? Austin Michaels or your tribal chief Roman Reigns? Say both of them look you in the eye. Prove your
uh,
loyalty. Who are you
Joey, don't
bowing
answer that
down
without a
to?
lawyer. Don't answer that without a lawyer, Joey.
yeah, I won't answer that as a lawyer. I'm going to take Eddie Wade's. See, that's why.
Why don't you just cut the tension? Who you more loyal to,
Well, let's
Austin or
take
Eddie?
Colt's question. Let's take Colt's
I
question.
would have to say
Ooh.
both. And that's a fair answer. I'm copping out. I'm copping out.
But here's your true and final
What?
question
That
for you, Joey.
Go for
You
it.
said Brotherhood is so good and so great.
Hmm.
Why ain't any of them beat me yet?
They're just waiting for the right time, man. Don't you see? Why go after you at your toughest when they can wait for you to be beaten down and weak and just slide in there, take the title and walk out? Why waste all that energy on trying to beat you when they can just wait for the time is right and take it? I mean, like, I think it's going to happen. I think that title's going to leave your shoulder one day and you're going to be coming back to the Brotherhood. And maybe they'll have open arms, maybe they won't. But all I know is I'll be sitting there on the Brotherhood couch with a bag of Cheetos saying, no, no, don't do it. No, he lied. He cheated. No, he left you. Like, I'll be over there
I
stuffing my face being, here's my 2 cents. But if
Maybe the way
Jay,
Austin Michaels says do it, I'm going to be like, yes, that's the right answer.
I
or
like
maybe you'll be
Jamie's
eating your
idea.
Cheetos or popcorn through a straw.
I like
Well,
Jamie's
I
idea
mean,
here. Roman
I do.
Reigns versus
I
Austin
have worked at
Michaels.
nursing homes, and I have ate pureed food before, so it's not new to me.
I like Jamie's idea. Austin Michaels versus Roman Reigns in a custody of Joey Hudson ladder match. I would just
Okay,
die.
first I would
That would be
probably
amazing.
cry at the. I would probably. First off, I would probably cry to
said
see
the
my tribal chief
brother,
enter the ring.
the
Second,
Brotherhood or
I'd
the
be cheering for
Bloodline.
Austin Michaels, to keep me win and keep me in the family. And third, I'm scared of heights, so I'd probably
Whoa!
pass out.
Did you just say you would be betting against the tribal chief?
I said
Did
That's
I
what
hear
no,
I
that
heard.
right?
no. I said I would be
Yeah,
begging for
that's what
Austin
I heard.
Michaels to keep me in the family. That ain't no. I never said the words betting
That
against. I would just hope that Austin Michaels would find a way to keep me in. Maybe buy. Spend some of that Austin Michaels money. And hey, if I throw the win and I let you beat me, well, Joe, can you let me have Joe still? I know Austin Michaels would find a way. He's just that smart of a guy.
But do you think Austin would acknowledge Roman Reigns?
I think he would acknowledge Roman if Roman acknowledged him. I think it'd be a big fat acknowledgement.
But Roman don't acknowledge anybody.
I think when it comes to Austin, I think when it comes to acknowledging someone, he would look at
Roman don't
Austin Michaels
acknowledge
and go, "I
anybody.
have to acknowledge him." I
game
think
Well,
he would.
recognizes game.
anyway, whenever you're done with stupidity and you can prove to me that you want to learn, my door's always open.
Don't learn how to
All
lose a
right.
title because that's gonna happen.
Well, speaking of your door being open, Colt, we'll start finishing up here. Again, if you have any questions for Mr. Colt Wilds here, please get them in the chat now. This is your last chance. But I want to ask you one final question. What can you tell us about your future plans? Not only with Civic Center lockdown coming up here on Saturday, by the way, Again, Lewistown Civic Center. But further than that, what are your long term goals for not only your championship, but also your place within TSW? Like, where do you see yourself? What's the goal of Colt Wilds?
The goal of Colt Wilds is to build those that ain't better than me to be better than me, to make the company the highest that it can ever reach. And I'm talking about competing with some bigger names. I truly, truly want the best for everything. And within my path, if I have the chance to send someone to Odin, I shall do it. As you know, in our religion, we don't have faith. Everything's fated.
Exactly.
As long as the gods are on my side, I will pave the way for those behind me to be better and stronger. That's my long-time goal.
Let me ask you a question. How many
Awesome.
tattoos do you have, Colt?
How many what?
How many tattoos do you have?
I love it.
24.
Well, how about one of these days you sign a contract for a match where if you lose, you get that 25th tattoo of the Brotherhood's logo right on your shoulder or right on your arm.
And if he wins, you have to eat a raw slice of Austin Michaels' ass.
I what? What'd you
How
say?
about that, Joey?
I got one even better.
Oh Lord.
We'll make a match eventually. If I lose, I'll get the Brotherhood tattooed on me.
Number 25.
But if I win, you have to get a Colt Wilds tattoo.
Oh, okay.
And Eddie Wade has to consider me.
You know, I'm pretty sure I can go online and find a pretty good stamp-on tattoo factory to make me one.
My brother owns a shop, so you ain't got to worry about that.
I can get a tattoo. I can get a Colt Wild tattoo stamped on me for a week and then wash that crap off.
There we go.
Oh, believe me, when we're done with you, you ain't gonna be able to wash it off, Junior.
Oh gosh. I might want to watch my step here, but you know, I guess I'm a little cocky because I got the Brotherhood and I got Mr. Eddie Wade watching my back. So maybe I feel a little too cocky, but I'm just glad we had you. I'm just glad that we had you on with the title because one day you can even go back and watch this episode and be like, I remember when I was a champion. I remember when I was relevant. Like I really feel like one day this episode will be like therapeutic to you. But it'll also be one of the moments where you're like, Joe was right. He's not even a wrestler, and he was right.
Hey, little known secret. I've held over 30 different titles, including Tennessee State Tag Champs,
That is
Tennessee
impressive.
State Junior Heavyweight Champ. And you're going to sit there and say, being a champ makes me relevant? I was relevant before I even had this title.
I do think all those titles are pretty impressive. I really do.
More relevant than you'll ever be in your whole career.
Well, I'm working on it, but
All right.
I think your biggest achievement.
Put
I
him in
think
his
I think
place.
out of all the titles you've held, I think the most
There is no but. There is no
the most
but.
iconic thing you've ever done was be a part of the Brotherhood.
You know,
Hey,
I
how does it make you feel to know that I was the very first Brotherhood champion?
That in a way, I'm happy for you, but in a way, I'm disappointed because you didn't learn your lesson. You left the Brotherhood. You should have stayed where it was safe, stayed where it was warm. You talk about TSW being your home. If it was cold out, the Brotherhood would shield you, make you warm again. They would help you in any situation if you needed them to. And now you're looking at them being against you. Like, how does it feel to know that you have so many Brotherhood members that are willing to take you out at any point, and not even one by one? They can come at you as a collective group and leave you lay.
Okay, if that's the case, then how come the second Brotherhood champion was J-Town Daddy due to Austin Michaels striking me in the face?
Austin does things for a reason, so you probably deserved it. You probably didn't listen
Eddie,
to him.
Eddie, you better get your boy because you
you
better stay
know,
away from
Nah,
me. That's
Austin's
all
a
I gotta
jerk,
say
bro.
because
Austin's
Austin
a jerk.
Michaels
He
ain't
just
gonna
be
be able
doing
to
stuff
save
like
you
that.
whenever the heathen army's knocking at your door.
You know,
I was worried when we brought you on, Cole. I was worried for Eddie because I thought he was going to be the target of those, those aspirations of violence. But really, this has turned into the the verbal destruction of Joey Hudson.
Hey, I do not feel destructed at all. I feel great. I feel just representing my family, the Brotherhood. I feel like I am doing them an honor. It is an honor being in their family. I feel like I owe it to them to defend their name. And, I really do feel like if you ever want to come back, we can have that conversation. I really do. It might be a tough one to have, but we can have it.
I want you to live with one thing in your head, though, Joey.
That's probably all I can handle, but what is it?
Other than Roman Reigns' jockstrap.
True.
Oh, God.
Oh, how an old boar squeals.
Huh?
Oh, how an old boar squeals.
The little piggies.
What the hell does that mean?
Jesse already knows.
Jesse, you have to explain this to me later.
But you're sure making your way there.
I mean, hey, sometimes when I'm when I'm not doing what I'm told, yeah, Mr. Michaels himself, he has to teach me a lesson. He has to clothesline me. He has to, beat me down a bit, but I learn from it. And that's the difference between you and me. I've learned my lessons. I've apologized. I've tried to learn from my mistakes. And you just talking bad about the Brotherhood is just mistake after mistake after mistake.
Joey, it really sounds like you have some daddy issues when this comes to this. Are you looking at Austin as a father and he's beating on you?
Hey, sometimes you got to whip your son to teach him a lesson.
Joey,
hey, I grew up.
Do you have like an R-Truth complex here where you think these beatings are initiation, or are they just
Sometimes
beatings?
I deserve them. Sometimes I deserve them. Sometimes I need also Michael to clothesline the breath out of me to realize not to do what I did again. But I grew up watching Andy Griffith, I grew up watching Andy Griffith, and even Opie Taylor got a whooping. Hey, I grew up watching Andy Griffith, and even Opie Taylor got a whooping from now and then.
Yeah, but getting a whooping isn't love.
It's tough love.
No. If that's the case, then I'm going to give you more love than your entire family's gave you.
Oh, he's going to put a loving on you.
I feel like I have a family in the Brotherhood that will back me up and help me out if needed.
Even your Brotherhood member over here fighting his whip, turning his head to the side because he knows what's coming.
I hope you're a fan of Cody Rhodes and you like the American Nightmare, because eventually you're going to see the Colt Wild Nightmare where he wakes up in a hospital one day. And what happened? Well, you were beaten down by the freaking Brotherhood. They beat you, brother. You are so bad that they had to vacate the title. They had to stretch you out. I mean, you're looking at that. Just imagine one day you're in a great match, you're having a great match defending your title, and before you know it, the ring is stormed with Brotherhood members and friends and family of the Brotherhood. And before you know it, you don't know what happened. The lights got turned out on you. That could happen, buddy.
You're talking Brotherhood in general. All of them. Name one that's beat me.
Well, it's bound to happen. That's the case.
I just want to point this out.
No, it's not a cricket. No, I'm just saying.
Point this out.
Is that a cricket? Is that a cricket?
I just want to point this out that Daddy Issues is now trending in our chat room.
Hey, I love it.
Issues.
I love it. I'll take it.
I know you guys have went over your time that you usually do or anything, but I'm enjoying this because, Eddie Wade ain't said nothing really. He's just sit there and watch while his manager just completely gets destroyed. A manager.
I was about to say, Joey keeps saying how the Brotherhood's going to protect him, but Eddie's been awfully quiet.
Eddie don't talk with words. He talks with his fist. Okay, and
the words wisely.
And didn't Colt Wild say, we got Daddy Issues trending? Didn't Colt Wild say any publicity is good publicity?
He did say
so I'll take it. I'll take it. You want to talk bad about the Brotherhood and say hashtag Daddy Issues? Bring it. I love it. We're getting noticeable every second by every day. Every time someone gets on TSW page and sees the Brotherhood, they are really seeing what family and greatness is all about. And you know all about that because you were part of it. It's not one of the beginners of it, one of the starters of it. You
want to know what the Brotherhood started out as?
A family?
No. hired guns, the biggest headhunters you've ever seen in any state that you go to. We were the most ruthless beatings that you've ever seen. You can go back and watch us demolish people, walk through people. And now it's more of a comedy sit, like Big Bang Theory ain't even as funny as the Brotherhood.
Hey, that's
You have
kind
a
of
situation. You have a situation that you could have made something perfect and kept it on track, but you rather follow a garden gnome to the end of the yard and sit there and watch people drive by. Austin Michaels is a joke.
Austin Michaels is a leader. He's a leader. If he wants
How are
something,
you
he'll
a leader
get it.
when everybody can see over top of you?
Well, I mean, you have to have. I'm not trying to make fun of his height. I'm just saying, even for a short guy, he's pretty tall in the rankings. He knows what to do. He knows what to get done, and that title is coming to the Brotherhood, I believe, one day. I really do.
All right.
Believe what you want, but what I'm giving you is guaranteed.
How are you gonna feel? How are you
Colt,
gonna
what I'm
feel
gonna
when?
give you, Colt, what I'm gonna give you is an opportunity right here as we end things. I want to give you an opportunity to tell me what you would like to do first to Joey Hudson if he ends up in that reverse battle royal for the RPD cash prize. What are you gonna do with him?
Oh,
Because
I
you
can
said
tell
you're
you
gonna be in
exactly
there.
what I'm. Oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do to him right off the bat.
Absolutely nothing.
For one, your shirt's going to go over your face, and I hope you can breathe heavy because the chop is coming solely for your chest.
I'll
And
take one
whenever
for the
you
Brotherhood.
drop down, when you drop down and my
Oh,
foot is
listening.
sitting on your chest and you can just feel your heart beating through your toes, just remember, when I'm flying through that air, the last thing you're going to see is Odin.
I will take.
Yeah, I won't lie,
I will.
Joe. I won't lie, Joe. You might want to try to get out of that one. You might
I
want to try
will.
to get out of
Hey,
it.
I am such a.
It's not a good feeling.
I am such a Brotherhood member. I will take 10 chops for the Brotherhood. I will do that for the Brotherhood.
He
Jesse,
said
you're
it.
getting a video of 10 chops.
I'm gonna talk to my sources. I'm gonna talk to Mike
You shut
Woodard,
up, Jesse.
and
You shut up.
we might just have to make this official.
You shut up, Jesse. No ideas.
I don't care if I have to catch you walking your little Eddie Wade out. You might not be in the ring, but you're going to catch him.
Well, if I do, I do. But how's it? Okay, how does it feel? How's it gonna feel when you lose that belt and Brotherhood is stamped all over it, and you know that the group that you just talked bad about is all over that title? When anyone looks at the TSW title, they will see Brotherhood all over it, Ring Post Daily all over it, and it will be all thanks to you.
No.
It's
You leave
irrelevant.
Ring Post Daily out of this.
No, I'm wearing the shirt. I have the logo everywhere. I will put Brotherhood and RPD together, bro.
It's irrelevant.
What
Until
is
you have a member that can take it from me, it's irrelevant.
See,
Jamie says?
Jamie in
Joey
the
just
chat
wants.
gets it.
Jamie
I'm going to
said.
Jamie
say
gets
this
it because
just like another professional wrestler. I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. But I'm the guy to try.
Well,
Jamie says
if you
Joey
fail
just
once,
needs
try
a
again.
belt in. Joey just needs a belt to hold his pants up. Jamie, I will rebuttal that by saying Joey just wants a belt, period. Because he is on an over year-long losing streak. So Joey
Hey,
just
I
needs a
take
belt
pride
in
in that.
general.
I take pride
Eddie's
in
on a
that.
losing streak too, ain't you, Eddie?
He's never.
Joey's
We're
been
not
on a
gonna
lose.
we're not gonna talk about that. I don't like. I'm
Eddie's
not as
only been
proud of
on
my
a
He
losing
losing
can't. He
streak
streak as
can't
since
win
Joey
lose.
November.
is.
He can't win lose.
Eddie's only been on a losing
Well,
streak since November, but Joey, he's been on it since we began.
I've been on a 14-month losing streak in this podcast, and I am proud of that. I have made history. I have had the longest losing streak in RPD history, and I love it. No one will ever topple 14 months losing streak.
well, let me do you a favor. Go get your Roman Reigns shirt on.
It's right there in the
Put your
closet.
put your Pampers on, not a diaper this time. Your Pampers. Go in the bathroom, brush your teeth, look in the mirror, and start putting yourself down in a promo. Let me know how that turns out for you, because once you can sit there and put yourself down correctly, don't ever try cutting a promo on me again, Junior, because I promise I'll destroy you left and right. See, you're how old again?
31.
31. But the simple fact of 30 years ago is the simple fact of the following. You do not correct Colt Wilds. I destroy you.
Oh,
I love you as a human being, but you try stepping on my honor with the Brotherhood, and I will destroy every member if I have the opportunity, including you, Eddie Wade, for the third time. Thank your manager for stepping in. You're on my radar, kid.
Eddie, this is what you need.
All right.
You need someone like me to get you amped up, get you going,
What you
get
need is
that
a
fire
Kevlar
fueled
vest
up,
at this
and
point.
go after Eddie and go after Colt. So,
It sounds
Eddie,
more like he was destroying his career before it's even started.
and the reason Eddie's not been so talkative is because he talks with his fist. He don't talk with his words. And maybe one of these times coming up soon, maybe you'll get a couple knuckle sandwiches.
Eddie
All
knows
right.
better than to come at me like that. He's worked with me in the ring. He knows the truth. He knows the fact of the heathen army, your modern day Viking Colt Wilds. He understands the fact of what I am and how brutal I can be. But I promise on the 17th, Joey, I swear it to the gods, you will find out too.
And I think that's a perfect place to end this
Yes.
off. Again, Civic Center lockdown TSW returns in 2024. This is the debut show. Lewistown Civic Center. Every single match will be contested in a cage, including Mr. Colt Wilds in action with an open challenge for his Southeastern Kentucky Championship. From myself, Jesse Henrik, Joey Hudson, Eddie Wade, Mr. RPD himself, the RPD Prophecy Champion, Tyreek Ramsey, and of course our guest, the modern day Viking himself, Southeastern Kentucky Champion, Colt Wilds. This has been Ring Post Daily Podcast. Again, Saturday, Lewistown Civic Center. Starts at 12 o'clock for the seminar, and showtime starts at 6 o'clock. And we hope to see all of you out there. And we hope you guys all have a good night and happy wrestling.